So as an identifier, like such as Gobekli Tepe, Tepe being the last, which really means hill, right? So what you're looking at is hundreds of subdivisions of ancient, you can almost say post Younger Dryas, or those that came out of the Ice Age, right? But you're going to see people recognizing religions as they realize, foolproof, empirical evidence supplied, that these societies were extremely complex, and that they both knew how to live in a sense like the Western Indians did. And there's a lot of postulation around the red man as a form of the original source, or the original man, right? So that these people would need in and of themselves to keep intuition as part of their way of living, their mantra, right? So that they would sacrifice something that they very well understood, which was the number system, the deterministic number system, as to not overtake their society. Because what we have now in current modern times, right, modernity, so-called modernity, is that we have the loss of intuition, right, that leads into a very dark aspect of a priori, or synthetic a priori, right, that manifests itself as the truth, right? So, but it's entirely necessary. We're playing it out. So again, when you back up enough and you look at the repeats and the eras and the cycles and the progression and the regressions, you see that it was all to meet a different layer of reality as an exponential. It was becoming itself, but redefining itself, and a visitation of all these places as to realize, okay, now it's perfect, right? And so, again, when you look at the mark of our time and why it holds so much power, but why it seems so dark, is because the inverted pentagram is dark to us, but it is just another symbol on the wall, so to speak, right? So, of this universal antiquity, or this cosmic antiquity. But my whole point to doing this one was to say that people are going to be embracing sort of obscure religions that are going to be full-blown. Like instead of the interpretation through ophites, there's going to be information that directly links us up, people, and specifically a subset of people who follow this. I think a lot of archaeologists are going to end up embracing a religion that seems so exotic, right? So strange, right? That there's just no interpretation or understanding of that unless you go into the discourse of study and understand what this really means. That get into the areas of human sacrifice, snake worship, so to speak, but that these animals represented not star systems, but actual personas and personalities that existed at one time, and now, under the recognition of this, by unearthing archaeologically, anthropology, right, unearthing this, what was buried, is going to be a direct connection to the past, right? So ideas like a concept of Abraxas, as an example, that is going to be expounded upon, looked at through all of its micro contingencies, right, all of its meaning, and then what these scientists are doing these days they are actually literally going to the altar after they've gone on under their academic scientific discourse. They've got all the accolades, they've got all the degrees, man degrees. They are now given certain liberties to where they can choose the religion, and that religion needs to be the beyond verisimilitude, right? So it needs to be what is a priori under the context of the totality of an entire time cycle, at least. You know, that we want to get back to the origins of what gives how the universe works, right? Fuck values and all the rest of that stuff. And that's what's going to be cast out of the window, is that you're not going to see a certain patronage or a highlighted, I would say, egalitarian morality, right, or even a virtue placed upon people that aren't curious about this and aren't needing to know their origins, what the universe or the cosmos really represents. If there are interdimensional gateways, why that is, more so than that they exist, is why do they exist?